Welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
And today we are unlocking a superpower in the world of software development.
Okay.
The builder design pattern.
Right.
You could think of design patterns.
Yeah.
Like blueprints for tackling common problems.
Yeah.
And the builder pattern.
Yeah.
It's all about making the construction of complex objects a breeze.
I like it.
Imagine easily building something intricate.
Yeah.
Like a custom travel package.
Yeah.
Without getting lost in the details.
Yeah.
That's the power we're about to explore.
That's a great way to put it. The builder pattern is all about giving you that control
Yes.
and clarity when you're dealing with objects that could have tons of variations and options.
Okay, so let's set the stage.
Okay.
Our source material uses this example of a travel agency called AgeTour.
Mm-hmm.
And on our website,
Yeah.
you can book a trip, but there are all these options. You can add Wi-Fi,
Right.
pet accommodations, smoking or non-smoking,
Wow.
air conditioning,
Right.
a TV, the list goes on. If I were coding this,
Hmm.
I can already see how trying to create a trip object with all those possibilities could get really messy really fast.
Absolutely. You'd end up with a constructor with a million parameters
Oh my goodness.
or a bunch of setter methods that could be called in any order.
Right.
It would be a nightmare to manage and understand.
So the builder pattern comes in to save the day.
Exactly.
Tell me more.
Instead of building the entire complex object,
Yeah.
in this case, the travel package all at once, we break it down into smaller,
Okay.
more manageable steps.
Yeah.
It's like assembling a piece of furniture.
Right.
You wouldn't try to jam all the pieces together at once, right? You follow the instructions, adding each component one by one.
Okay. I'm starting to see the light here, but what are the pieces of this builder puzzle?
Okay.
What makes it tick?
Well, you have three main players,
Okay.
the product, the builder, and the concrete builder.
Okay.
The product is the final complex object we're aiming for, the travel package in our example. The builder is like a blueprint, interface that defines the methods for constructing each part of the product. Think of methods like add Wi-Fi, add pet accommodation, set smoking room, and so on.
Hold on. Wouldn't I end up with the same problem as before? Lots of methods to call.
Yeah.
What makes this approach so much better?
It's all about the concrete builders.
Okay.
These are specific implementations of the builder interface.
Okay.
Each one is responsible for creating a particular variation of the product.
Got it.
So you might have a luxury package builder that sets everything to top-notch by default.
Right.
Or a budget package builder that starts with the bare minimum.
Okay, now it's clicking.
Good.
So if I want to book a super luxurious island getaway,
Yeah.
I'd grab the luxury package builder and then use its methods to add any extra touches I want.
Right.
Like, say, a private pool.
Precisely. You're in control, adding each element step by step.
I like it.
And you can even get really specific. Your luxury package builder could have methods like add 5-star hotel or include gourmet dining to really paint the picture of what that luxurious experience entails.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's like having a personal assistant who anticipates your needs.
All right.
And helps you craft the perfect package.
Exactly.
Now, our source mentions 2 ways to actually implement the builder pattern.
Okay.
Building the object directly in the builder's constructor.
Yeah.
Or doing it step by step with a separate build method.
Right.
When would I choose one over the other?
If your travel package is fairly simple,
Okay.
building it within the constructor might be sufficient.
Right.
But imagine you're dealing with a complex itinerary with flights,
Oh, yeah.
hotels, excursions, and all sorts of add-ons.
Right.
That's where the step-by-step approach with a build method shines.
Mm-hmm.
You build each piece
Okay.
and then assembles it all into the final product.
Yeah.
This way you have more control over the order of operations
Right.
and can handle more intricate scenarios.
So it's like having 2 different construction crews.
Yeah.
One that's great for prefab houses
Yeah.
and one that specializes in custom mansions.
Right.
You choose the crew that's right for the job.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
And this flexibility is one of the key benefits of the builder pattern.
That makes sense.
You mentioned a separate build method, but is there anything stopping me from adding, say, Wi-Fi to my package multiple times?
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like things could get a little chaotic if someone goes overboard with the add-ons.
Yeah.
How do you prevent that?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
While the builder pattern itself doesn't enforce those kinds of restrictions,
Right.
you as the developer can build in safeguards within your concrete builder classes. For instance, your add-away method could check if Wi-Fi has already been added and prevent duplicates.
Okay.
Or you could design your builder to only allow adding certain options once.
Right.
It really depends on the specific rules you want to apply to your travel packages.
So it's like having a smart travel agent who gently guides you through the booking process, making sure you don't accidentally end up with 5 Wi-Fi connections.
Exactly. The builder pattern provides a robust framework, and you can customize it to fit your specific needs and prevent any booking blunders.
Okay, so we've got this great foundation for building complex objects, but is this travel agency example the only place we'd see the builder pattern in action?
Right.
Are there any other real-world examples where this pattern pops up?
Oh, absolutely. The builder pattern is used all over the place.
Cool.
For example, think about string builder.
Okay.
It's used constantly in programming to construct strings efficiently.
Yeah.
It's like a specialized builder just for text.
I see.
And in Android development, you have document builder, which works behind the scenes to create complex layouts for apps.
Oh, what?
It might not be visible to the user, but it's there, making sure everything looks just right on your screen.
That's fascinating. It's amazing to see how these design patterns are working behind the scenes in things we use every day.
Yeah.
Speaking of connecting pieces, I remember our source mentioning a link between the builder pattern and the singleton pattern.
Right.
We did a deep dive on singletons a while back.
Yeah.
But could you remind us how those two relate?
Certainly. You'll recall that the singleton pattern ensures that a class has only one instance and provides a global access point to it. Now imagine you have a particularly complex concrete builder, like our master travel package builder, which has all the logic for constructing the most elaborate multi-destination trips.
Right.
You might want to make that builder a singleton.
So there would only ever be one master travel package builder.
Exactly.
Why would I want that?
It ensures that any part of your application that needs to create these complex travel packages uses the same single blueprint.
Right.
It helps maintain consistency and avoids creating unnecessary copies of the builder.
So it's like having a master architect for these intricate trips.
Exactly.
Everyone goes to them for that guaranteed top-tier build.
Exactly. And it shows how design patterns can work together.
I like it.
They're like building blocks.
Yeah.
And you can combine them in creative ways to solve different challenges.
Love it. I love how these design patterns can work together. Like they're part of a secret language for developers.
Right.
You know, we've talked a lot about the specifics of the builder pattern.
Yeah.
But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
Why should someone who's maybe new to software development care about this pattern?
Right.
What are the key takeaways they should be walking away with?
Well, one of the most important benefits is that it simplifies the construction of complex objects.
Okay.
You're not juggling a bunch of parameters or worrying about the object's state.
Right.
Instead, you break down the process into clear, manageable steps, making your code much easier to read and maintain.
That makes sense if I'm looking at someone else's code or even my own code from a few months ago.
Right.
It's so much easier to understand what's going on if it's structured in a clear step-by-step way.
Absolutely. And that improved readability leads to fewer bugs and headaches down the road.
Right.
When your code is clear, it's easier to spot potential issues and make changes without causing unintended consequences.
So it's not just about making the code look pretty, it's about making it work better.
Yeah.
And be easier to maintain in the long run.
Exactly. And let's not forget about flexibility.
Okay.
The builder pattern lets you create different variations of the same complex object with ease.
Right.
You want a basic travel package, use a simple builder. You're craving luxury, go for the deluxe builder.
Yeah.
It's like having a set of specialized tools, each one designed for a specific job.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
But, you know, thinking about all these options of variations, it makes me wonder, are there any downsides to using the builder pattern? Is there ever a time when it might not be the best choice?
Well, like any tool, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with very simple objects that don't require a lot of customization, using the builder pattern might be overkill.
Right.
It could add unnecessary complexity to your code.
So it's important to choose the right tool for the job.
Exactly.
Don't reach for the builder pattern just because it sounds fancy.
Exactly. It's about understanding the problem you're trying to solve.
Right.
And choosing the most effective approach.
Right.
Sometimes a simple constructor is all you need.
Yeah.
Other times, the builder pattern can be a lifesaver.
Okay. So to recap, the builder pattern simplifies complex object creation.
Right.
Makes your code more readable and maintainable.
Yes.
And offers a lot of flexibility for customizing the final product.
Absolutely.
And as we discussed, it can even team up with other patterns like the singleton for added power.
It's a powerful tool indeed, and one that can be applied not just to software development, but to many areas of life.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm always fascinated by how these technical concepts can have broader applications.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Right.
How could someone use the builder pattern outside of coding?
Think about it. We often face situations where we need to build something complex, whether it's a project plan, a piece of furniture, or even a delicious meal.
Yeah.
The builder pattern encourages us to break down those tasks into smaller, more manageable steps.
Right.
Making the whole process less daunting.
I'm starting to see what you mean. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by a complicated recipe.
Yeah.
I could think of it as a series of simple steps.
Right.
Each one building on the last.
Exactly. It's like having your own personal recipe builder guiding you through the process.
Yeah.
And ensuring a successful outcome.
Right.
And just as in software development, using this builder approach in real life can lead to greater clarity, control, and ultimately a more satisfying experience.
That's such a cool way to think about it. We're not just writing code. We're applying these problem-solving strategies to our everyday lives.
Absolutely. And just as there are countless design patterns in software development,
right,
there are likely countless mental patterns we can adopt to navigate the complexities of life.
Yeah.
The builder pattern is just one example.
Right.
But it's a powerful one that can help us build amazing things both in code and beyond.
Well said. You know, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with a little challenge. We've been talking about building software. But what about building something in your own life? Maybe you're planning a big project at work, or you're finally tackling that DIY project you've been putting off.
Yeah.
How could you apply the principles of the builder pattern to break down that challenge and make it more manageable?
What a fantastic thought. I love that you're encouraging our listener to apply these concepts beyond the screen.
Yeah.
It's so easy to compartmentalize these software development ideas, but they really can be powerful tools for thinking about problem solving in general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know I've definitely felt overwhelmed when starting a big project.
Yeah.
But if I could think about it like building a product, using a builder to assemble it piece by piece,
right,
that might just make the whole thing less intimidating.
I think that's a brilliant insight. And just as we talked about with our travel package example, you can even imagine different builders for different situations.
Oh, yeah.
Need to organize a big event? Maybe there's a party planner builder that helps you break down the process into manageable steps.
Right.
Booking the venue, sending invitations, planning the menu, and so on.
Oh, I love that. Or if you're building a website, maybe there's a website builder that guides you through choosing a template, adding content, and customizing the design step by step.
Exactly.
Suddenly building a website doesn't seem so scary.
It's all about finding those patterns and applying them in creative ways to make complex tasks more approachable.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe you'll even come up with your own mental patterns for tackling challenges in your own life.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
A huge thank you to our listener for joining us on this journey into the world of the builder pattern.
Yes.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and maybe even a few new tools for your mental toolbox.
It's been a pleasure exploring this pattern with you.
Remember, the builder pattern isn't just for software developers, it's a way of thinking.
Right.
A strategy for breaking down complexity and achieving amazing things one step at a time.
Yeah.
So keep exploring, keep building, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.